Sir, myself Dr. H.K. Virana. I talked with you regarding the program and also I invited you to deliver a lecture on our title of the 2 weeks training program itself is Natural Farming Present Status and Future Prospects, sir. At least we thought of inviting you on the first day itself, but because of your busy schedule, at that day it was not possible for us to invite you, and you were also busy. So keeping your schedule, so today we plan to have a lecture by Dr. N. Ravishankar. Sir, totally 28 participants are here. Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, please.
Sir, we have with us 28 participants. All these participants are from different SAUs of South India, sir.
Okay.
They are all actively involved in this training program. As per the guidelines given by the ICR, we are conducting this program under NAHP IDP program, sir.
Okay.
The main intention is to orient all our participants about natural farming practices and their adoption for the benefit of teaching the same activities to our students during their UG program, and also whoever the scientists working in the KVK system, they have to demonstrate some of the good practices of natural farming practices in the farmer's field. In that context, we are starting this program, sir. This is actually 5th day of our training program. Sir, for the information of our all the participants here, today we have with us Dr. N. Ravishankar, sir. We are all very fortunate to have Dr. N. Ravishankar, sir, with us. He is a principal scientist and project coordinator at KSNUAHS and Integrated Farming System, Indian Institute of Farming System Research, located at Modipuram. More than 10 review papers. In addition to his publications, he was involved as a national principal investigator of All India Network Program on organic farming. And he has also developed, he is the person responsible for development of packaging practices for organic production of crops in cropping systems perspectives, almost for 79 cropping systems spread across 16 states of the country. And to his credit, Ravishankar has been awarded with 3 national awards, 8 institutional awards and 6 academic society awards. Sir is also a fellow of Indian Society of Agronomy and also worked and till today is working as member of national level committee constituted for preparing the course syllabus on natural farming and organic farming. This is the very purpose our all participants are participating in this program, sir. Dr. N. Ravishankar, sir, is working as a member of national level committee constituted for preparing the course syllabus on organic and natural farming at the ICR level. He is also worked as member secretary of ICR constituted national level committee for empirical validation of Subhash Palekar natural farming model in the country. So it is all a wonderful opportunity for all of us to hear from Dr. N. Ravishankar, sir, because he is having a vast knowledge during his 25 years of service as a scientist at Modipuram. He is having a vast knowledge on organic farming, natural farming and integrated farming system. He is also involved in various committees at the national level. So I invite Dr. N. Ravishankar, sir, to deliver a lecture on natural farming, present status and future prospects in his first lecture. Followed by that, sir will also deliver a lecture on natural farming practices in different agroecologies of India. So on these 2 topics, sir is going to deliver a lecture. Sir, on behalf of all the participants and on behalf of the KSN University of Agriculture and Horticulture Sciences, I request you to, first of all, I welcome to this training session, and also I request you to deliver a lecture on these 2 aspects for the benefit of our all trainees who are present here, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Viren. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So, good evening, participants. I think some of you maybe attended the other lectures also, other training programs organized by the other universities, because this training on natural farming present status and future prospects, it is being organized by Education Division of ICR at the cluster level, clustering of the universities. What I will do, I will present the first lecture, and then we can have some interaction for 5 to 10 minutes. Then we may go for the second lecture on the natural farming practices in different agroecology. Just to introduce, our institute is located in Modipuram. It is near to Delhi, and we have this social media channels this JVKT Technique app is there. Then we have also YouTube channel, and in this also some of the materials related to the organic farming, natural farming, all those things are available. So you can also refer those videos, audios available in this social media for getting additional understanding about these subjects. Then our institute is working on 4 major research themes. One is on integrated farming systems. Second is cropping systems and resource management, and third is organic agriculture systems through 2 national schemes. That is ACRP on integrated farming system. It is almost present in the 25 states. And then NPOF, All India Network Program on Organic Farming, that is present in the 16 states, including the Karnataka, all southern states also our scheme is present. And ICR recently mandated our institute, means last 3 years, ICR mandated our institute to conduct the studies on natural farming, as well as coordinate the natural farming research through the All India Network Program on Organic Farming. So that is why we have initiated these activities almost last 3-4 years. We are constantly evolving these practices for the different agroecologies. Then, the moment we talk about the natural farming, what is happening? There are many apprehensions which we develop. That apprehensions includes that whether we will be able to meet the requirement of the population, food requirement of the population. That is about 405 million tons of food grains are required by 2050 to meet the population of about 1.7 billion, which is expected in 2050. The current level of this food grain production is about 330 million tons. Of course, the data is 21-22. The current data is about 330 million tons of food production. But these all we have to achieve, whatever the requirement is there, this has to be achieved with the varying degrees of available resources. Like rainfall, there is a variability among the different agroecologies. Then we have the length of growing period, very less length of growing period in out of 20 agroecological zone. Less than 8 zones are having the less than 150 days of length of growing period. And also, if you see the contribution or the population depending on the agriculture is also drastically reduced. That was earlier 70%. Now it is about 58%, and around 50% of our area is under rain-fed. So that also it makes it difficult when we totally convert our production system into the alternative production systems like organic or natural farming or any other type of practices. But still, this is one hand. In the another hand, if you see, out of 745 districts in India, about 239 districts, they consume less than 100 kg of nutrients per hectare. Also, the pesticide consumption is also less than 0.4 kg active ingredient per hectare, which is significantly lower than the national average consumption of nutrients, that is about 146 kg per hectare, and the national average pesticide consumption, that is about 0.45 or 0.5 kg active ingredient per hectare. So these districts where the lower amount of nutrient consumption is there, pesticides are there, So these districts, if we focus on these alternative agricultural production strategies like organic farming, natural farming, regenerative agriculture, conservation agriculture, so this is going to complement to the existing food production system, and we can achieve a better output and also the economic efficiency from these areas. Mm, then, why the government is looking very critically and looking for the alternative strategies like natural farming? In spite of about 200 and 2 lakh, in spite of about 2 lakh 20,000 crores, which is being spent on the fertilizer subsidy for the last 3-4 years, the soil health is continuously declining, and the NPK use ratio is found to be very wider. That is 7.1 is to 2.7 is to 1, which is against the ideal. That is, ideal should be 4 is to 2 is to 1. More focus is given on nitrogen rather than phosphorus and potassium, and that results in the this complete alteration of the soil physical, chemical, and biological properties, resulting into the micronutrient deficiencies and also the decline of the partial factor productivities. If you see the soil health card, which is issued by the government of India, if you analyze the total soil health card, it is about 64% of the soil health cards are low in the soil organic carbon, and about 82% of soil health cards are low in the nitrogen. So, what it happens is that all these things contributed for the thinking of the policymakers to switch over from the completely chemical dependent agriculture to the somewhat reducing the chemical consumption in terms of fertilizer and pesticides, as well as for the looking into the alternative strategies like organic farming or the natural farming. Then now everybody is talking about the sustainable agriculture. The moment we talk about the sustainable agriculture, people measure the sustainable agriculture only in the form of either by yield or by the economics. But the yield and economics are the manifestation of the different factors. Sometimes you may get the higher yield and higher income, but on the cost of the environment, on the cost of the ecology, and also on the cost of the your climate. In sustainable agriculture, there are 4 dimensions we need to address. One is there should be efforts for constant increase in income, and then there should be efforts to reduce the this expenditure, market input expenditure, especially the paid out cost, which is going into the multinational companies in the form of pesticides and also the fertilizers, especially for the potassic fertilizers and also the raw materials of the urea and also this phosphoric acid, etc. So the increase in employment is the another dimension which we need to think. The agriculture sector itself, we need to create a decent and also the convenient work force as well as the working atmosphere in the agriculture. And then the risk, that is, agriculture is more prone to the risk. There are 2 risks associated with the this agriculture. One is the market related risk, another is the climate related risk. So both these 2 risks needs to be reduced. Then if you address all these 3 angles, all the 4 angles, then we can achieve the sustainable livelihood very easily. And this is what the integrated production systems or the integrated farming systems or the organic farming systems or natural farming all aims for this particular aspect. The natural farming, it is a integrated production system. Why it is so? Because the inputs for the natural farming, especially the Jeevamirth, Gun Jeevamirth, etc., are coming from the livestock component, and also the ingredients which are utilized for preparing the botanicals like the spermiarch, your brahmastar, all those plants are also, it is coming from the identified pest repellent plants. So this is like a intermixed cropping, along with that recycling of all the residues like crop residues, animal residues, etc. So this is called as the integrated production systems, wherein we can achieve all these 4 dimensions. And the sustainability assessment can be made through the three dimensions. Because the economic efficiency alone cannot capture the sustainability. It should also capture the ecological security. It should also capture the social equity dimension. And if you combine these three things, we can very easily achieve the sustainable livelihood security. And we have published one paper on the land degradation and development journal. So you can refer this for the sustainability assessment for the integrated farming system or organic farming, and even the other same methodology can be adopted for the assessment of the sustainability by using this three-dimensional assessment of the sustainability. When you look at the origin or concepts of this natural farming practice, it was documented as early as 1940 or 18th century itself. It was formed, this one documented by Walter James in the book Organic Farming, Look to the Land, in which the organic versus chemical farming differences or difference between the organic and chemical farming are documented very well. Then this organic versus chemical farming was further fine-tuned by the Fukuoka, Masunobu Fukuoka, in the island, Japanese island Shikoku. That is called as the Fukuoka method. Many of you must be aware also. It is otherwise called as the natural farming, do nothing farming. And here, what they have tried at the initial stage is that the rice crop was grown, and in the rice crop, only the panicles are harvested. The straw was left as such, and that particular straw was not removed from the field. In the standing rice straw, the pulse crops were sown into the field, and the pulse crops got germinated without any cultivation, without any prepared compost, no dependence of the chemicals, and also the tillage and weedicides. The pulse crop was able to grow successfully. So it all started from this particular area or particular island, particular concept, and then it has led to the different forms of the natural farming development in other countries, including the India also. Then in India, if you see, the Subhas Palekar natural farming, it all emerged from the Maharashtra by using this breed, Kapila breed. I hope I am audible. Okay, so this Kapila breed of livestock was initially utilized for preparing these concoctions like Bija Mirth, Jiva Mirth from this animal, and then this was supplemented with the proven agronomic practices like mulching, intercropping, cover cropping, etc. So in this process, the fast build-up of the soil humus took place in the field, and that has resulted into the soil aeration, improved soil aeration, and reducing the water requirement for the crops, especially on account of the harnessing of the water available in the air. Also, due to the buildup of the soil organic matter and humus, the water requirement for the crops also got reduced. So this enthused the Subhas Palekar to promote this type of practices among the farmers in the Maharashtra. But then the adoption of the natural farming practices in Maharashtra was varying very greatly with the crops, with reference to the region, and also the availability of the inputs. Basically, all these practices aims to reduce the market inputs, use the available on-farm inputs effectively. Then, apart from this use of this solid liquid concoctions, and then intercropping, multi-cropping, which is mandatory in this natural farming practices, soil cover using the live mulch or crop residue mulch, and also this soil aeration creation, alternate furrow irrigation. These prophylactic pest control measures, because the natural farming is not having any control measures for the insect and diseases. So the prophylactic pest control measures play a very, very important role every 15 days or every month, we need to spray these materials to reduce the incidence of the pest and diseases. And in addition to these practices, in Andhra Pradesh, some of you may be aware also, this Andhra Pradesh community managed natural farming is being promoted. So in that also APCNF, apart from these core practices of this natural farming, they have also added some of the additional components into the natural farming, that is like multivariate cropping or the pre-monsoon dry seeding. Then integrated pest management practices like trap crops, biocontrol agents, neem seed kernel extract, mechanical traps, they are also being utilized under the natural farming promotion. If you see the overall natural farming practices which are currently being practiced or evolving over the years, many of them are already scientifically proven. Like, mulching, the effect of mulching, although there are some logistical issues are there or application limitations are there, but scientifically proven practices like intercropping, then you have a cover crops, crop residue mulching, then you have got the alternate furrow of irrigation, then these IPM practices, trap crop biocontrol, these are scientifically proven practices, but farmers are having some application limitations. Whereas this use of these concoctions, like solid and liquid concoctions in the form of Ganjiva milk, Bija milk, Jiva milk, they are basically the soil microbial enhancers, and very little study has been done so far on these concoctions. And similarly, these prophylactic pest control measures like Agni Astra, Dasparni, also very little scientific evaluation is there. But we have initiated these studies in characterization of these inputs, both for pest and disease management and also for the microbial enhancement inputs. We have already started, and some of the results I will share with you also. Under the All India Network Program on Organic Farming, we have 20 locations in 16 states, and partnering with the 11 state agriculture universities, 7 ICR institutes, 1 deemed university, we are covering about 10 agroclimatic zones and 12 agroecological regions. In this, we have started this organic farming experiment as early as 2004-5. But the natural farming experiment is started from the 2020 onwards. Although we piloted some of the studies, piloted the natural farming study in the year 2017 to 20 in the basmati rice wheat cropping systems, only with the concoctions, because the other practices are proven. So we have not studied the complete packages in the initial pilot study. But from Kharif 2020, complete natural farming practices are being evaluated in different agroecologies. And apart from that, we are also studying the how the farmers are practicing the natural farming, what kind of practices are being this one. Then with respect to the biochemical characterization of natural farming inputs also, we have initiated and we have come out with some results I will share also. Because in natural farming, the general perception is that we can use only the native breed cow dung and cow urine, not the HF, or the some farmers, if they are having the native and HF breed together, if they are rearing, whether we can use this mixture also. So that particular study also we have conducted, apart from farmer participatory evaluation and also capacity building program demonstration through our ASRP IFS centers. And currently, these are all the major studies we are conducting, like geotagged survey from natural farming farmers field in 16 states. Almost we have collected the data from 500 farmers, 500 natural farming farmers from the different agroecology. Then characterization of inputs, natural farming practices evaluation, and apart from that, we are also aiming to reduce the cost of cultivation of the organic farming. Organic farming, the major limitation is the cost of cultivation on account of bringing the lot of manures from outside, bulky nature of the manures and low amount of nutrient content, requiring more amount of labor for application of organic manures. The cost of cultivation is higher under organic farming. So by integrating these natural farming inputs into the our organic farming treatment, organic farming evaluation. So we are trying to reduce this cost of cultivation also under the organic farming. Then apart from this, validation of natural farming practices are also being undertaken in the different states. Then, when you look at this characterization of these natural farming inputs, I just want to share some of the important findings from the present experimentations. These natural farming inputs like Jivamrit are locally prepared, and the ingredients used for preparing these natural farming inputs, plays a greater role in final makeup of these concoctions. If you look, we collected this undisturbed soil for using it in the preparing the Jivamrit and Ganjivamrit from the three different forest area, like North Bengal, Salboni, and Sundarban in West Bengal. And what we found is that the Jivamrit or Ganjivamrit prepared from these different soil are having the different type of microbes, as well as the different type of composition of these free living nitrogen fixers, phosphorus solubilizing bacteria, and potassium solubilizing bacteria. And the next point is that at what stage we must use this worm, whether it is on the second day or third day, fourth day, or what about for fourth day. So what we found is that the microbial population was found to be better after the 4 days. Means fourth to seventh or eighth day, it can be very easily utilized by the this one with respect to the free living nitrogen fluxes, and also these phosphorus solubilizing bacteria, and also the potassium solubilizing bacteria. If you look, these free living nitrogen fixers and also the phosphorus solubilizing bacteria, they are more after the 4 days. But in case of if you see the potassium solubilizing bacteria, it is up to the second day is going to be second or third day is going to be critical, critical. So the purpose for which we are using this natural farming inputs plays a very important role, and also the ingredients which are utilized for which are going to utilize for preparing these concoctions are also play a very important role. Then, with respect to this, whether we should depend only on this native breed, or we can use the HF cow dung and cow urine, or if farmers are having the mixture of these two, then whether they can use mixed urine and dung of these two breeds. And our results, we estimated with the different type of breeds like non-descriptive desi breeds, Saibal, Gir, and Kasargod was utilized in our study, and this clearly indicates that not much significant difference is found in terms of the bacteria, fungi, and actinomycetes population. Especially the actinomyces, there was no difference at all. While in case of this Ganjivamrit prepared using this native breed of Gir and Hachaf, and also the mixture, and also here also we found there is a quite good amount of microbial population which is building up in this Ganjivamrit and Jivamrit. So our finding initially indicates that if the native breeds are there, it is fine, well and good, they can use it. Otherwise, there is no harm in using the HF and also the mixture of these two, cow dung and cow urine from mixture of these two breeds also. Cow dung, cow urine mixture from these two breeds also, it can be utilized for preparing these concoctions. Then some of the findings, some glimpses I would like to share with this one. If you look this one, there are 8 major cropping systems in multi-location study. We are conducting this with completely comparing this a complete natural farming comprising of all practices, which I have listed earlier in the table, which includes the use of traps, the application of leaf extracts, etc. And that is being compared with the NPOF package, that is organic farming package, and integrated crop management with enough inputs and integrated crop management with the need-based pesticide application. And here, if you see, the one critical parameter which we observed, which is very, very important in the natural farming, is this is like multivariate cropping during the fallow period. In conventional system and also in organic farming, what we do is during the fallow period, either keep the land fallow or we go for the only growing of the green manure crop. So, in this case, the natural farming, we need to go for the proportion of this multivariate cropping, that is, mixture of seeds of green manure, cereal, pulses, oil seeds, fibers, and other crops that needs to be mixed, then broadcasted during the fallow period, and the seed rate to be used as per the recommended seed rate for the individual crops. Then these crops are allowed to grow during the fallow period, and till planting of this crop, if some crops are come to the maturity, you will harvest those produces, and the remaining biomass is incorporated into the soil. This is a very simple technique, does not require any much of labor or much of difference. And am I audible? Okay, okay. The expected benefits out of this multivariate cropping is going to be because of presence of multiple roots in the soil, there is going to be an underground allelopathic effect. Allelopathic effect is going to create in the soil. That is going to activate your microbes, and also it is going to suppress the soil-borne pathogens also. So this is the one advantage, clear-cut advantage due to this multivariate cropping during the fallow period, which is currently promoted largely in the case of Andhra Pradesh community managed natural farming, and in our experiment also we have adopted this practice. The second is biomass addition. When you grow only the green manure crop, then it will release the nutrient for a certain period only. Whereas when you have these multivariate cropping mixtures, mixed type of crops, the CN ratio of these residues are going to be very varied, and that will result in the varied differential pattern of the nutrient release from these residues. So this will enhance the longer period and stabilized release of nutrients through the decomposition period process for the entire crop duration or the entire crop cycle. So this is the another important advantage which we are going to get due to this multivariate cropping. Then certain practices, anyhow, I will be covering these practices in other next lecture also. But in nutshell, I just wanted to convey one message very clearly. The present natural farming practices or the present type of natural farming not only depends on the traditional practices. Like traditional practices means people say that we should use only the traditional varieties. We should not go for any inputs. Without inputs, we should grow the crops. But the current status of this natural farming promoted by the union government as well as the central government, these different state governments like Himachal Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, and even to some extent Karnataka also. They employ all the modern practices, like modern varieties are included in the natural farming. All the good agronomic practices like spacing. It is not a mixture of the crop. This spacing is also maintained in the natural farming. Sowing method is also recommended. Sowing methods are adopted. And apart from this, adding these mulching materials, available mulching material, and also these concoctions prepared from the different ingredients of livestock and plants. So this is what this is being promoted nowadays in the natural farming. Natural farming. Our initial assessment, a consolidated assessment of this natural farming indicates that we try to measure the component wise effect of this natural farming, like how much is the concoctions contribute, how much is the mulching contribute, how much intercropping contributes towards the yield, including the BAFSA. So out of these four pillars, if you see, the intercropping play a very important role. That is, it contributes about 9.1 to 67% as 67% to the yield compared to the other practices. followed by the mulching and also the concoctions. They almost perform equally, like 11 to 25% and 7.8 to 25% and 8%. WAPSA, which is actually outcome from these above practices, if we just put a treatment of alternate furrow irrigation in addition to the above practices, and that could contribute only 2 to 6% of the for the yield. So also what we found here is the microbial biomass carbon is also found to be better under the natural farming and organic farming compared to the any integrated crop management practices. And some of these crops like this cowpea based, this legume based cropping systems, which was tested at multiple locations, and also the soybean based cropping systems, they performed better under the natural farming compared to the organic or the integrated crop management during the initial years. And most likely this is mainly on account of the low amount of nutrient required for these crops, also the native nutrient supplying capacity of the soil, which is always higher during the initial period without any supplementation of the fertilizers. But at the same time, we also found these high nutrient requiring crops like rice based cropping system, maize based cropping systems, or the turmeric based cropping systems. We found there is a significant yield reduction due to the adoption of this natural farming. And with respect to cost of cultivation, the main advantage of natural farming is the paid out cost on account of fertilizer, pesticides, are very minimal, means it is almost nil. All the inputs are prepared on farm. So that is why this reduces the paid out cost for the agriculture, for farming. So that is why wherever the yields are better in some of the cropping system, there we found there is a better net return. Whereas this cereal based cropping system, the yield reduction is so significantly higher. So the cost of cultivation reduction could not make up that loss in the yield, and finally ultimately leading to the lower this one lower this one. So in this process, the main advantage, the choosing of the crop is very important while promoting the natural farming. And you can see here the soil organic carbon was also found to be better in the different agroecological regions or the different cropping systems. And in case of rice, people feel that how this natural farming can be adopted, like especially the mulching and also the intercropping. Mulching in case of rice, the recommended practice is the use of azolla, blue-green algae, especially in the waterlogged low-lying areas. And intercropping, this dencha can be used very effectively in intercropping in the rice field. The farmer participatory validation also we have done, and that also indicated there is a great potential for in some of the selected cropping system and selected areas where this natural farming can contribute for better returns to the farmers on account of reduced cost of cultivation and also better soil health on account of the improved native nutrient mobilizing capacity due to this addition of these concoctions having the varied microbial populations. And just for concluding, I would like to make 2-3 messages clear. These core natural farming practices, we try to estimate what is the nutrients or nitrogen supplying capacity, because nitrogen is directly directly correlated with the yield. How much of nitrogen you add, you get the better yield up to certain extent. So here the core practices of natural farming, such as this liquid geoearth, solid geoearth, nitrogen direct addition of these materials, and also the nitrogen fixation by these concoctions, along with the mulching of crop and intercropping of legumes, azolla, they contribute only 40% of the nitrogen to the demand. They can meet the 40% of the demand of the nitrogen by the crop. Some farmers, they add azolla and as well as the formier manure even in the natural farming, even if we consider these two practices also followed by the farmers, natural farming farmers, still they can get only 70% of the nitrogen required for the crop. Therefore, choosing the crops in the initial stage is very important, and more so the application, supplementation of nitrogen through the organic amendments, maybe a wet compost, enriched compost, whatever may be, phosphorus rich compost, whatever may be, it is very much required during the initial period, especially for the initial 3 to 2 years, to have the stabilized supply of nutrients and also the stabilized. And in addition to that, we also need to integrate the leguminous intercropping, cover cropping, and also this third one, multivariate cropping during the fallow period. And if you look in India, the sustainable agricultural practices systems are many. It includes agroforestry, natural farming, integrated farming system, biodynamic agriculture, then organic farming. You have got a contour farming, vermicomposting, means application, mulching practices. There are different type of sustainable agriculture practices are being adopted in India. And if you see, the best practices from each and every one should be drawn, and that should be used in the natural farming. And whatever the practice you are choosing from the other systems, other sustainable agriculture practices, it should not have it should not have the increasing cost, or the paid out cost should not be there in that particular practice which you are drawing from the other sustainable agriculture practices, and that can be integrated into the natural farming systems. So this way, what I want to finally conclude also what is the future for these natural farming systems. One is the sustainability can be very easily achieved through the promoting the natural farming by using the integrated farming systems approach, because natural farming or integrated farming we use some chemicals. In natural farming we do not use any chemicals and locally dependent. So if you very properly plan and use some of the practices like this multivariate cropping, concoction mulching, intercropping, and also micro irrigation systems, etc., then you are going to get a profit from these natural farming practices. And another important point is the time of use is very, very important in the natural farming. Like mulching, if it is get delayed for 1 week, then all the weeds will germinate and you are not going to harvest any crop. So timely mulching is very, very important. Building up of the soil fertility during the initial stage, I highlighted already. And non-pesticidal management techniques like trap crop, mechanical trap, these can also be recommended and utilized in the natural farming. There is no harm in that. And we should, because these are all minimal minimal paid out cost areas. And we need to adopt the area, crop, and resource specific approaches for this one. Whatever the natural farming or the organic farming, regenerative agriculture, which we are promoting, which aims to address certain objectives, and all these objectives are listed here. Improving the soil organic matter, above and below ground biodiversity, carbon sequestration, etc., diversification, sustainable livelihood. And this can be very easily adopted by using the combination of crops, livestock, and related subsidiary enterprises, and with knowledge development on the natural farming. And since India has already committed to carbon net zero by 2070, and also there is a lot of demand for the chemical free agri producers. Then awareness among the public, especially on the health grounds, pesticide residues. These organic farming or the natural farming are having the better scope in the coming years. And I would like to conclude my talk for this lecture with a one note that Niti Aayog, in its recent analysis, clearly indicated that 1/4 of the area, 1/4 of cultivated area, that is about 25% of the cultivated area, about 35 million hectare area, cultivated area, can be brought under the organic and natural farming systems in next 10 years, that is about by 2032, and that will not affect the our food self-sufficiency or food security in any way. Because I think last slide you have here, no?
Yes, sir. Last slide, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. I just told the last point that Niti Aayog has already clearly indicated that 25% of the area, that is about 35 million hectare, can be very easily converted to organic and natural farming without affecting the food security, national food security. Because these 35 million hectares area is using the very less amount of chemicals and pesticides, fertilizers and pesticides. And if we promote these practices, it will going to complement the food production in the country. So this is what I wanted to convey in the last slide. In case any questions or anything, then we can discuss.
Any questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
You have quoted few examples of different cropping systems. Apart from that, any intercropping system that can be feel compatible or economical viable systems is there in different
No, it is echoing actually. Dr. Veerana, you can tell me what he is asking.
But you please continue. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮವರು ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
May I audible?
Yeah, you are audible now.
Just you have put a few examples of the different cropping system in different agroecological regions. Apart from that, any intercropping system that is economical viable or suitable for natural farming system is there, which is generally adopted.
Yeah, in my next lecture, I will give the different intercropping systems which we have evaluated under the natural farming.
Yes, yes, yes.
There are many systems involving the soybean-based, maize-based, rice-based systems also.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this natural farming or natural way of farming was started by Fukuoka. What is the status of natural farming in Japan as of now?
What is the status of natural farming in Japan?
Because the word
Yeah,
natural
yeah.
farming was coined by Fukuoka, and he was the person inspiration for our Paleka.
Yes, yes.
What is the status as of now in Japan?
The current status in Japan, actually in few areas, few selected areas, this natural farming is also being promoted in the Japan also. It is also being practiced by the farmers. But then there is no government supported programs like in India. It is not there in the Japan. And another point is that if you look at the Japan and Indian conditions, these are totally different actually. The natural farming which was originally found and it is currently also being promoted in Japan, or if you refer the publications, that is totally different. It is like a relay cropping systems wherein we do not harvest the straw and other things, and then it is like a zero tillage operations. But in India, it is not like that. It is a completely revamped natural farming system comprising of these livestock based inputs, then your best practices from the integrated pest management practices, all those things are also used in India.
Any other question? Sir, with respect to your first session on natural farming present status and future prospects, I think our participants don't have any more questions, sir. Now you can start your next session on natural farming practices in different agroecological situations of India. Yeah.
Okay. So there I will only share the results, what results we got for different cropping systems in the different areas. Whether slides are visible?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. You share slides, sir.
Yeah, just a minute. Now it is visible?
Yes, sir. Full screens.
Open the full screen, sir.
Full screen.
Is it fine?
Yeah.
Is it fine now?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So in my next lecture, I will just very briefly cover about the what is the result of these natural farming practices in different agroecology, and also the different cropping systems, intercropping systems, which is one of the participants asked. Here, if you see this slide I have already covered, I will be highlighting the third part, that is evaluation of natural farming practices in different agroecology, how we did it uniformly, and what is the result of these cropping systems, I will share. We have adopted a uniform kind of procedure across all the locations for evaluating the natural farming practices in different cropping systems, wherein Bijamrit was prepared by using the cow dung, calcium chloride, canful of undisturbed soil, 20 liters of water, and also the cow urine 5 liters, while the Jivamrit was utilized utilized as the foliar spray as well as the soil application, and it was applied at the rate of 500 liters per hectare and twice in a month. And for preparing this Jivamil, we prepared 200 liter of water, 10 kg of cow dung, 10 liter of cow urine, 1 kg of pulse flour, and 2 kg of jaggery, and also the undisturbed soil. And similarly, the Ganjivamil was applied at the rate of 250 kg per hectare as a basal dose. And then for pest management practices, like this prophylactic pest management practices, this was depending upon the location and also the crop requirement for the insect disease management. These were applied once in 15 days or once in a month at the different locations, and for preparing this Agni Astra, we used a standard procedure at all locations. This is the standard procedure wherein green chili paste, garlic paste, tobacco, and then neem leaves. These are utilized for preparing this Agni Astra for making the pest control mechanisms. Then another is the Brahmastra, wherein also different kind of plants are used along with the cow dung and cow urine, like neem plant leaves, karanch, then custard apple leaves, then neem, also datura, castor. All these plants are having the pesticidal properties, and these are utilized for the pest and disease management in our experimentation. And also the neem aster, also there is a standard procedure. Hopefully you must have got all these literatures by now, and this standard procedure was utilized for the preparing neem aster and applied at all the experimental sites. Then this Darspernia extract, there are 21 plant leaves, out of which the 10 plant leaves are utilized. Any 10 plants leaves was utilized for preparing this extract, in addition to the neem leaves, 5 kg of the neem leaves. So this way, these plant extracts are prepared for managing the pest and diseases. So now I will present the results of the experiment at the different agroecologies. Just before presenting the results, I would like to draw your attention that these results are based on the 2 years of initial 2 years of period. Third year data is we have compiled, and it is in process for this one. And these minimum 5 to 3 to 5 years are required for stabilization. Another 3 years for the concrete recommendations are required. So the initial, whatever the initial 2 years result, I am presenting it. I am sharing with you in different agroecologies. And in case of control, we have not applied any inputs in the except the weeding. While in the natural farming, as per the protocol, currently available protocols, we should not go for the weeding, so we have not done the weeding also. Even hand weeding was also not done in the natural farming treatment. And the natural farming, because in the conventional systems or the organic farming or the ICM, farmers, they generally do not go for the intercropping. Very rarely farmers go for the intercropping. So what we did was that we compared the natural farming with the conventional system with intercropping. While the natural farming is with intercropping, while the conventional practices or the conventional treatments are without the intercropping. So that is also an important point is to be noted, because in natural farming, the intercropping is the mandatory practice. Then another is the cost of cultivation and net returns were worked out based on the common price at the national level. And we also conducted the brainstorming and also consolidated results of these 2 years were discussed. So now if you see these cropping systems, like mostly prevalent soybean plus maize, followed by vegetable pea plus coriander. These cropping systems are prevalent in the Himachal Pradesh, especially the hilly states like Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, and also Uttarakhand. So there are 3 locations we evaluated the same set of cropping system, same cropping system with the common practices under the irrigated situation, irrigated farming situation. And here if you see, we have used all the improved varieties. Like in case of soybean, we used Hadid soya, maize, Girija. And here we have tested the soybean plus maize intercropping system. And in case of Rabi season, green pea plus green garden pea plus green coriander was the intercropping systems which was evaluated in these three locations. And the enough inputs which were utilized for the evaluation is the Bijamir, Jivamir, and Garjivamir, and also Jivamir. As I told, the dose is followed uniformly. And we sprayed the Dasperni arc at the rate of 5% at 30 and 45 days, and Agniastra spray at 2% at 30 and 45 days after sowing during the Rabi season. And the mulching was done with the wheat and soybean straw in the cropping systems. Here if you see the results indicates that during the first year itself as well as in the second year also, the soybean equivalent yield was found to be higher, better under the soybean equivalent yield of Kharif season crops, that is soybean plus maize, was found to be better under the natural farming conditions compared to organic or ICM. And this is mainly on account of, there are 2-3 reasons which I have observed in the field. One is the quick covering of the soybean crop and also the mulching helped to reduce the help for the presence of no weeds in the particular plot. Whereas in the other treatment, we have not included the intercropping or the mulching. And then another reason is, during the initial years, the native nutrient supplying capacity of the soil always found to be higher. And with the addition of this Jivamrit or Jivamrit, the microbes present in the soil are activated, and as a result, the yield of these crops were found to be better. And even if you see the Rabi season crops, which is normally they get lower yield under the organic farming and also this one. If you see the Rabi season crops, during the first year there was a huge, significantly higher yield, whereas in the second year the yield was almost on par with that of the organic farming, because the Rabi season, the microbial activity limitation is there in all these three locations. Due to the temperature related use, soil temperature during the winter, the microbial activity gets limited, and as a result, the mobilization of the availability of the nutrients gets affected. So this is our first year and second year results with respect to this particular crop. Crop at the Bajura. This is the result of the Bajura. So similarly, the Sikkim center also, because Sikkim state is organic state, we cannot implement the integrated crop management practices. So we have not implemented the treatment. So we simply compared it with the controlled natural farming and organic farming. Here we found there is a significantly better yield, with similar to the Bajura. In Sikkim also we found there is a better yield under the natural farming during the first year and second year also in this particular cropping system. And with respect to the Almora also, the similar practices was adopted, similar practice of cropping system, application of natural farming inputs, agronomic practices, intercropping, etc. were adopted. Here also we found there is a significantly higher yield in case of Kharif season, that is soybean plus maize cropping system, and there is a on-par yield with that of the vegetable pea plus coriander yield in this one. And in case of system yield, it was found during the first year the yield was significantly higher, but in the second year it was found to be either on par or it is marginally lower than the conventional systems and organic farming systems in case of Almora. The consolidated result of all these three locations for this particular cropping system of soybean plus maize, followed by vegetable pea plus coriander, indicated that these cropping systems provided, if the natural farming, all the practices of natural farming are followed critically and timely, then there is a possibility to get better yield during the Kharif season as well as the Rabi season, leading to the and also the reduced cost of cultivation and better net returns and improved soil organic carbon. Among the pillars, for this particular cropping system and for this ecology, intercropping and concoctions played a very major role in contributing to the yield. Mulching does not contribute for much yield because the soybean itself is a spreading crop and not much weeds was there. So the intercropping contributed almost 30% to the yield, 30% this one, and concoctions contribution was found to be 10% in this region. And the second cropping system, which is again soybean based cropping system, which was evaluated. Soybean wheat system is the most prevalent system in Madhya Pradesh as well as the Chhattisgarh. If you see in Madhya Pradesh, soybean plus maize plus followed by wheat plus mustard was evaluated in the two ecologies. One is the irrigated and another one is the rain-fed. Rain-fed system was at Bhopal, while the irrigated system was at Jabalpur and Raipur. And this is basically a plain area. Unlike the previous system, it was tested in the hilly area. This is a plain area. Here, if you see here also, all the improved practices were adopted. And for intercropping, this 4:2 ratio was adopted for the soybean maize, and wheat plus mustard, it was 8:2 ratio was adopted with all kind of practices. Since in this area, not much pest incidents was there, so we having applied for these botanical concoctions like Dasperni or Agbiaster, Brahmaster. So without that also we could able to manage these crops. And if you see in Bhopal, the yield was found to be better because this is again a legume-based cropping systems in the Kharif. And even Rabi also, there was a better yield because it was under the rain-fed situation. Rain-fed situation, whenever we add Jivamrit, it also adds the water to the crop. So that has contributed for the additional benefit to the for getting the yield. And in case of Jabalpur, if you see, Jabalpur also same system was evaluated with all kind of same practices. And Jabalpur, since we have started 1 year late, the 1 year data only it was there. And Jabalpur also the similar performance of on par yield with that of the other systems. And also this under irrigated situation on par yield, rain-fed system at Bhopal, it has got given the higher yield. And wheat also, it was found to be better yield under these natural farming systems, natural farming compared to the conventional systems. And if you see the Raipur also, all the three locations, same cropping system, same practices. There was a good performance of this treatment, especially during the Kharif season. Of course, the Rabi season, little lower yield was obtained under the irrigated situation compared to the dryland situation or the rain-fed situations. And the consolidated results indicates that again, this particular cropping system can be recommended under the natural farming, especially in these three regions, the rain-fed region, irrigated region, for the selected with all the serious practices. Here again, the intercropping contributed significantly about 44%. And here in this region, compared to the hilly region, here in the plains, the mulching effect was found to be 16% in the soybean-based cropping system, and concoctions was found to be 17%. So, since compared to the hilly region, here the soil organic carbon is also very lower when we started this experiment. So, this manifestation of these addition of these good agronomic practices like mulching, intercropping, and with concoctions has helped for increasing the yield also. Then the third system, which is cowpea plus maize, followed by coriander plus fenugreek, oblique cabbage, cauliflower system. This was tested in the western part of country, wherein this is the medium intensive ecology under irrigated situation. And here, if you see, the results indicates that at this one, Ajmer, the cowpea plus maize and coriander plus fenugreek was tested in 3:1 and 1:1 ratio respectively with all the practices. And here again, we found the cowpea equivalent yield was found to be better both in the Rabi season as well as coriander equivalent yield was found to be better in the Rabi season. And the 6-time equivalent yield was also better comparable with that of the other systems. And in case of Udaipur, the same system was evaluated for 2 years. with the continuous addition of these inputs in the same cropping systems. And here again, the similar results was observed in the both Kharif and Rabi season. And also the system equivalent yield was found to be better under the natural farming. And in case of SK Nagar, again the same cropping systems with the same practices were adopted, including the mulching with the fennel stover and also the cabbage leaves as mulch in the fennel crop at the rate of 5 tons per hectare. And here again, you can see in the SK Nagar conditions, there was a during the first year, of course, the good yield was obtained, the copy equivalent yield, whereas in the second year, there was a lower yield in the Kharif season. But in the Rabi season, if you see the fennel plus cabbage, the second year yield was much higher compared to the first year, but that is due to the other issues like choosing of the crop and also the management issues. But in spite of that, the results indicates that these SK Nagar center was having only 0.1% of the soil organic carbon, and in this region also it was found to be better. This one, the consolidated result indicates that there is a better yield for this particular cropping system, and also for this arid region and also the semi-arid region of Rajasthan and as well as the Gujarat condition. Here the intercropping contributed for 40%. Concoctions effect is more than the mulching, 20%, because the soil organic carbon is very lower. So there was no microbes present in the soil. So when we added these concoctions, this has helped for the multiplication of these microbes and then relinked the microbial biomass carbon and mobilizing the nutrient from the soil. Then another important cropping system, tuber crop-based cropping system, which is normally practiced in the southern regions, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and some parts of Karnataka also. This tapioca plus copy followed by green gram systems, and under the partially irrigated situation, and this was tested, and with the 1:3 ratio of intercropping in the Kharif season, and in case of Rabi season, we have not gone for the intercropping, only green drum was done in this one. But all kind of this enough concoctions practices were adopted. Here again, not much prevalence of insect pest diseases, so we haven't applied any this one biobotanical combinations for the pest and disease management. Here again, you see, although the yield is found to be on par with that of the organic farming and ICM, in case of tapioca equivalent yield during Kharif season, green gram yield was found to be better under the natural farming compared to the other practices. Then the system yield, as a result of this, system yield also comparable with that of the other practices, and there was a significantly lower cost of cultivation on account of the paid out cost. Like in case of organic farming, it was found to be 2.44 lakhs. In case of ICM, it was 2.33 lakhs. But in natural farming, it was 1.79 lakhs. So when we get comparable yield or even marginally lower yield in particular systems, the significant reduction in cost of cultivation makes the better net returns to the farmers. Better net return of about 7.1 lakhs per hectare, and the soil organic carbon was also found to be better under the this one. Then these four systems, which I told this initially, all these four systems are very well suited for the natural farming in the identified areas and also the identified ecosystems. If the remaining four systems which I am going to discuss, these systems are having some issues with the natural farming, like rice plus dencha and followed by groundnut plus mustard or sweet corn plus coffee. This system was tested in the partially irrigated ecology of Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Here again, all practices were adopted, and in case of rice plus dencha, for each 3 row of rice, 1 row of dencha was introduced, and in case of groundnut plus mustard, it was 1:1 ratio was adopted with all kind of natural farming practices, and paddy straw as a mulch material at the rate of 6 tons per hectare. And in case of sweet corn plus cowpea system also 1:1 ratio was adopted with the paddy straw mulch of 6 tons per hectare. And here if you see, the rice equivalent yield was significantly lower compared to the other practices. Even in fact the organic farming recorded the better yield compared to the natural farming or the even ICM also. Similarly, in the Rabi also there is a significant reduction in the yield. So that means these cereal-based cropping systems are having the problem with the natural farming. These results clearly indicate. Similarly, in Jharkhand also, you can see here, Jharkhand situation also, although very low input is used in the Jharkhand areas, here also the yield reduction is under the natural farming, reported under the natural farming compared to the organic ICM practices. Because here this intercropping is green crop, it does not contribute much for the yield. And mulching also, this azolla mulching was not much effective because many of times the field gets dried and then mulching is lost. And then concoction application also, it does not contribute for the higher yield under the this one. And if you see the consolidated result and also the individual centers productivity, there is a reduction in the yield of the crops in the rice-based cropping systems. And coming to the second, this other another system, that is cotton-based system, which is practiced in the cotton plus green gram followed by sorghum plus chickpea. At Coimbatore, it was irrigated ecology, while in Dharwad, it is a rain-fed ecology situation. This was tested. And here, in case of Coimbatore, you see cotton plus green gram was shown in 1:1 ratio. And in case of sorghum plus chickpea also 1:1 ratio with all kind of practices. In organic farming, even we have adopted this Panchagavya spray, vermicompost application and farmyard manure also into this one. And for pest management under natural farming, Agnya Astra was applied at the rate of 5% at vegetative and flowering stage of the for pest management. Here again, if you see the irrigated situation, that is at Coimbatore, the natural farming recorded the lower yield and also the sorghum equivalent yield in the both Kharif and Rabi season, system equivalent yield also. But if you see the Dharwad, which was under the rain-fed situation, although the same practices were adopted, the performance in the rain-fed ecology is totally different. Here you can see in the first year, there was almost comparable cotton equivalent yield in Kharif season and even sorghum equivalent yield in the Rabi season. So that means there is a rain-fed systems. These natural farming practices are more helpful in realizing the better yield compared to the irrigated ecology, wherein the yield reduction is observed. Even in the second year, although the yield reduction is there in almost all the treatments, but the natural farming performed almost on par with that of the other practices. So this is again a good this one, and result of lower cost of cultivation. Because in ICM, it was about 93,000 per hectare system cost of cultivation. And in case of natural farming, it is only 61,000 per hectare. So reduction in cost of cultivation and comparable yield contributed for the better net returns under the natural farming and also the organic soil, organic carbon also. Here, these concoctions contributed for 23%, mulching effect about 16%, and intercropping is only 8% in this region. Then the another systems, that is maize plus cowpea followed by wheat plus chickpea. It was food. These are all the food hub areas like Ludhiana, Modipuram and Pantnagar. And also these are irrigated, intensively cultivated ecology. Here what we found is that maize plus fodder and wheat plus chickpea was grown in different row ratios with all the standard practices of organic farming, natural farming, and also the ICM. Here again, there is a significant yield reduction. If you see, in case of system, there is a 62% yield reduction was observed in case of over control. And in natural farming, it was found to be 56% reduction over the ICM. And in case of compared to organic farming, it was found to be 40% reduction was observed. And this is again at Modipuram, Modipuram also similar result of reduction in significant reduction in yield was observed. And the consolidated results also, it indicates there is a significant yield reduction. Although the cost of cultivation is less, it cannot compensate with that of the this one. Reduction in the yield, so that is why the net return is also very low. This one, however, the intercropping effect is more compared to the mulching and also the concoctions application in these systems. Then the turmeric plus cowpea followed by green gram system was evaluated in the hilly as well as the plain area, that is Umium and Calicut. This one rainfed in the hilly ecologies. And here we bet there is a significant yield reduction in the under the natural farming compared to the ICM and also the organic farming, and also the cost of cultivation also found to be lower, but there is still the net is also due to the significant lower yield. The soil organic carbon was also found to be almost on par with the other treatments. And here the intercropping contributed better for the turmeric yield compared to the even concoctions or the mulching and work. Just to conclude my presentation, I would like to inform you that these performance of these natural farming practices in different cropping systems and also the different The turmeric plus coffee followed by green gram system, it was tested at two locations, Unium and Calicut, under rainfed and hilly ecology. Actually, Calicut was under rainfed situations, while the Unium was under hilly ecology systems. So, in this situation also, we adopted turmeric was intercrop of coffee and followed by Rabi season, green gram was grown. And with 1:1 ratio of turmeric and coffee with all the practices. Here also you can, we have also used Neemaster and Agniastra for the pest management. Here also you can see the reduction in the yield of the turmeric during the Rabi season, and also the Rabi season Then compared to the irrigated and rainfed ecology, rainfed ecology is more suitable. Hilly ecology is more suitable for the natural farming practices, and especially among all four pillars of the natural farming. In most of the cases, intercropping performs better in the plain areas, where in the rainfed areas, is mulching and also the application of uncoxing system, especially the area the application of uncoxing is for the betterment of the yield. So thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much. Hello, sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So now I request our participants to raise any of the questions they have, sir. With respect to sir's presentation, if you have any questions.
Madam, you introduce yourself and...
Sir, I am Dr. Shanti, sir, from BJP SAU, Professor of Soil Science.
No, you can please come closer.
Closer to the
Sir, my just I want to tell is when cow and cow products are center of this natural farming, not only a few liters of urine and few kgs of food tanker, rather than using the entire manure and urine of cow for natural farming would be more remunerative compared to what concept we are following now. What is your interception on this, sir?
So you are asking that only using very limited quantity of cow dung and cow urine instead of using entire manure, how this is going to help? Yeah?
Yes, sir. Anyway, when it is called natural farming, cow being the center of the concept, then rather than using a few liters of urine and few kgs of dung for the preparation of bijamritam and jivamritam, the entire excreta of urine and dung when it is used, it could be more remunerative in terms of yields. That's what.
Yeah. See, you are correct. You are correct with this one. Your statement is correct. Your logic is also correct. But the practical problem with respect to current day of farming is that people having the livestock component and then using those cow dung and cow urine for entire cow dung and cow urine for the farming is reduced over the years. You also know, many people will agree with that. Because of labor limitation, maintenance of animals, feed cost, and so many associated issues, the people maintaining the cow dung and entire using that is getting limited. And moreover, the concept of natural farming is totally different from the organic farming. Organic farming aims for the supplementation of the nutrients through the various sources: organic manures, farmyard manure, vermicompost, and enriched compost. But in case of natural farming, this is basically stimulating the soil microbes from the soil, for which these ingredients, like a very limited quantity of ingredients of cow dung and cow urine, and along with the undisturbed soil, it may be from the banyan tree, or it may be from the bunch, or it may be from the soil, which is having the very rich source of free living nitrogen fixers, phosphorus solubilizers, potassium solubilizers. So if those things are put into the concoctions, then there is a microbial addition or the microbial invigoration in the regeneration in the soil. So that is going to help for the mobilizing the native nutrient of from the soil.
Yes, sir.
That is the concept.
Okay, sir.
Sir, no more questions from the participants. Hello.
Yes. Okay.
Sir, I think they are all very clear with your presentation. That's why they are not having any questions to ask you. Anyhow, sir, you have given the write-up also. We will circulate the same to all our participants.
Yes.
And at any point of time, if they find any difficulty in understanding some of the aspects with respect to natural farming, they will seek your guidance either through your phone or through mail. So they will be in continuous contact with you, sir. So at this juncture, on behalf of all the participants of this training program, and on my personal behalf and on behalf of the University of Agriculture, Horticulture Sciences, Shumaga, I profuse vote of thanks to you, sir. Thank you very much for providing your valuable time and delivered two important topics on the aspects of natural farming. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Veerma. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I provided.